Hi guys, Valentina here, ValentinaPetrovaConsulting.com with a video on the realities and how to make online dating more successful, more fun, more productive. And I'm here presenting this video with my little sidekick, Lulu, which I just bought 3.5 days ago. But we know each other from a while, right, Lulu? Because I used to babysit her for this guy who I met online through a dating site. So the joke is, what I got out of online dating is a dog, or more accurately, 2 dogs, as one of my clients pointed out, as the previous owner of this cutie is no longer in my life. and probably if it wasn't for this dog, wouldn't have lasted as long as he did, which is 2.5 dates or something like that. Not very long. So singlehood has been interesting, and as most singles these days do, you look for connections online. We're too busy, our lives are revolving around work and other things, so online is pretty much the way it goes nowadays. We don't go to the jitterbug to meet singles. And so if you're not, especially if you're not into the bar scene or big huge parties and things like that, you might find yourself wondering, how am I going to meet people? And then you go online and then you go, oh my god, this is crazy, how is this even possible? So as always, I research everything, and before I get into something, I spend some time trying to understand the environment, try to understand the process. So here I will tell you what works and what doesn't work in online dating and how to make this work for you, so perhaps you will meet your significant other there. I have not yet. I'm frankly not in a hurry. I got a dog. But I have experimented with certain things, and I kind of can tell you what works and what doesn't. In addition to my research, I always, whatever I learn out there, I put it into real life and see if it works, if it stands the test of reality. So first of all, when you go online, show yourself as you are. Your picture should not be just your face and nothing below your face, because when the person looks at that picture, immediately they think you got something to hide. So you got nothing to hide, show it off. And if you feel like you're too heavy or you're not good looking, remember, people like different things. So maybe you're not everybody's cup of tea, but at least you're honest, because what's going to happen when they actually meet you? So you're hiding who you really are from the neck down, and then they meet you and they go, holy crap, thanks a lot, right? You're not their type. You're too short, too fat, too skinny, too whatever, So the more honesty up front, the least trouble afterwards. In that line of thinking goes how you write your profile. So if you have a picture and nothing underneath it, a profile, most people will skip through it, especially if you're a guy. Girls get a lot of hits. Like when I got online, like in one day, I got like 60 some messages in actually 2 hours. It was crazy. So we girls look at all this, and if you send me a little message that says hi, and I go and look in your profile, I don't see anything, and I just see a picture of your head or part of your face or your dog or you and 20 people, and I don't know who you are out of this picture, I don't give you the time of day. And as you might have noticed, the good girls disappear fast. The girls that look hot or whatever from online sites, they don't stick around very much. And same applies the other way around. If you flip it around, if you're a girl and you're approaching a guy who's really cute, handsome, whatever, and your profile sucks, your pictures are not depicting you the way you really are, and you haven't written anything that describes you accurately, you're shit out of luck. The competition is pretty stiff, so that's it. Then you're not going to hear from them. So where are you located? What do you like doing? Do you have children? Do you have pets? How much free time you have? And don't make it generic. Everybody says the same damn thing. I like traveling, I like this, I like that. And when you ask them, well, where you been? And they go, nowhere, Atascadero, I don't know, like maybe Mexico. So don't write the way you wish you were, write the way you are. Remember, you're someone's flavor, but they will not find you unless you show them who you are. You don't have to be everybody's flavor. You can't date 500 people anyways. You want to date a couple of good ones, or, you know, date 5 or 10 and then find the one you like. So honesty and transparency and obviousness of who you are as eloquently and as upfront as you can will save you a lot of trouble. I once went on a date with a guy who said in his profile, he said he was just a few pounds a few extra pounds, but his pictures were all athletic. And when I met him, like, okay, I went on a date out with him for lunch, and there was this ginormous guy. I could barely recognize him. I'm like, what happened to the athletic guy with the few extra pounds? I'm like, when you show up in that situation and you're the person that misrepresented yourself, you think the other person is not going to notice? Or they're going to be like, oh, but they're such a nice person. No, they're going to feel cheated. They're going to feel like you deceived them right before you even started. So that's a terrible way to begin a possible relationship. So yeah, that's that about your profile. Second, when you do make a connection, whether you're on Tinder or there's like so many other sites out there, you have to be very sort of efficient, but polite. So, you know, starting a conversation, little hi won't do it. Hi is what? Hi is nothing, you know. So start the conversation, you know, something to do with their profile. Ask them about a question about themselves, or like, hey, you know, I saw this in your profile, I'm curious about it. Like all these people that write about places they travel, I write them, it's like, so where have you been? Like maybe we can swap travel stories, right? And most of them have been anywhere. And I got all the travel stories, so you know, it's baloney. So when you approach them, ask a question that is not just, hi, how's your day? It's okay, but it doesn't capture anybody's attention. Again, remember, there's a lot of competition out there. So unless you're super hot and you think like you're going to rely on your good looks only, the hi might be enough. But usually not. You want people to see how you talk and then watch your grammar, right? Like I get messages from guys that is a run-on sentence with no punctuation marks, and half of it is misspelled. And like, okay, I'm Bulgarian, so I misspell things or use the wrong word sometimes, but at least I run it through the spell check before I send it most of the time, right? But anyways, like a little mistake here and there is no big deal. But when the whole message they sent you is illegible, practically the third grade level, then okay, I'm automatically not interested. It's like, how did you get to be 40 years old without writing a sentence correctly, you know? At least that. So, be careful how you communicate. Your first communication is very important. It sort of sets the tone for the whole thing. So then how many times do you go swapping messages back and forth? People get caught with messages back and forth. And then they never go out with anybody, or they get stuck with someone who just wants to have a pen pal occasionally. Like you'll hear from them here and there. No, that's not it. That's not efficient. That's wasting your time. And if you're that person, you're wasting their time. So I usually exchange a message or two, you know, just kind of getting a feel for where the person is, and maybe answering a couple of questions that I have and answering their questions if they have them. So I'm talking about 2-3 messages going back and forth. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm curious about you. Here's my number. If you're interested, contact me in person, because the purpose of this whole thing is to meet people, right? Not to just talk to somebody via weird app. So then if they're interested, they call me. And if they're not, then I don't give a shit, because big deal. Same thing, sometimes the guy jumps the gun and he's the one that sends me his phone. And if I'm interested, I call them, or I text them actually. So then texting couple of times back and forth, just kind of like get a little more feel for the person. And then the next thing should be a phone conversation. You cannot tell much about the person just by texting. You have to actually hear their voice and see if you resonate with their voice and see how they speak and what they're interested in. And can you actually carry a conversation with this person? If you can't carry a conversation with this person on the phone, even though the first time might be a little awkward, you can kind of tell if it's getting momentum or not getting momentum. So if you can't have a conversation over the phone, you're sure not going to have a good time sitting across a cup of coffee across the table, staring at each other and wondering what's up. And then the usual thing is, minimal investment in the beginning. It's like, I don't want to waste some guy's money and time if I'm not sure about him. So I'm not going to be the girl that goes, take me to a fancy dinner. I want to see how people are in real life and how they are in connection to the kinds of things that I like. So, for example, I'm a dancer. If somebody says they dance, I'm like, well, where do you dance? Let's go dancing. I want to see what kind of a dancer they are. You can tell a lot about a person on the dance floor. Or if they claim to like the outdoors, I usually will suggest, hey, let's go on a hike, or let's go on a walk or something, and see, I get to see them physically. I get to see if they can keep up with me going up Valencia Peak or something. And if they were truthful in their profile, correct? Like if they tell me that they're spending all this time outside and I take them up Valencia Peak and like I leave them in the dust, they can't keep up, they can't walk and talk, and they have to take 50 breaks. It's like, yeah, right, so you don't really hike, do you? Which means when we go hiking, I'll be going hiking and you'll be waiting for me down at the bottom of the hill. So, that's what I do. I usually suggest something that is relevant to their profile and that we have something in common, and then just go do that instead of going on an official date. And then in that first meeting, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and again, get more feeling for the person and decide, okay, is this person going to be actually, am I attracted to this person at least a little bit? And so doing not the usual dinner thing or the coffee thing will give you more exposure, authentic exposure to the person, than just go to dinner and everybody's like on their best behavior. Also, they can't be using their phone. If they're out there and you're hiking or you're biking or you're on the beach or something, it's very hard for them to keep checking their phone. It's like one of the terrible realities of online dating is somebody goes out on a date with a person, and while they are there on the date with the person, their phone keeps beeping with messages from that app, whether it's Tinder, OkCupid, or whatever it is. And they're not paying any attention to the person they're with right now. They're already like distracted by these other possibilities, which are very slim anyways. So, put the person in a place where they will have less opportunity perhaps to constantly be engaged on their phone. And if they are constantly engaged on their phone, let's say you do go out for coffee or something more traditional first date thing, and they're staring at their phone, just fucking leave, man. One of my friends, he said he went out on a date with a girl and like she did nothing but stare at her phone. He took her to a nice dinner and everything, picked her up from her house, and she was just looking at her phone the entire time. So like halfway through the dinner, he said, okay, I'm done, see you later. Good for him. The man's got standards, right? So, don't allow yourself to be subjected to something like this. And also don't do it to others. Be considerate to the person you're on a date with. All right, so then you do everything perfect. You're out there, you got your first date, you're more curious, whatever. Like, what's your chance of success that this person is going to be a long-term relationship for you? Well, look up the app statistics. So I looked up, for example, Tinder, because it is very popular. And I found out that 85% of the people who go on Tinder are millennials. So if you're not a millennial, if you're Generation X or older, there are a lot fewer people that are on Tinder for you there. Then, like overall, Tinder claims to have a 14% success rate, meaning 14% of the matches actually turn into long-term relationships. That's only 14, 1, 4, okay? Other sites have their own statistics and they keep them differently and whatnot. And, sometimes they explain and sometimes they don't very well explain how they gather the statistics. But you can get an idea for like what to expect. Obviously, if you go on 10 dates, you have 1.4 people chance. You gotta go at least on 10 dates to maybe meet one person that will be relatively okay. And then, maybe you match up with that person, you have a good time, but you don't really feel like you'd be a couple. But that's fine. Maybe you can be good friends. I have made good friends from online dating, including the guy I just told the story about, that he went out with a girl that was looking at her phone. So I met him online and we're still friends. And that was like, I don't know, maybe last August or June or something like this. So, we're friends. We hang out once in a while. We hike, we get some food, we go to movies. We're friends. So, hey, no loss there. Success story. We're not a couple necessarily, but we're good. So think about that. Maybe that person may not be necessarily the love of your life, but they might be a good friend. So who doesn't need more friends, right? So that's basically the skinny on online dating. It's not what people say, just a numbers game. It's quality. You have to put out quality information about yourself, quality attention to the people that you meet, and you have to demand quality. So exclude all the ones that are not quality. Like exclude all the people that are bugging you online and they have crappy profiles, or they have profiles that communicate things you're not into. Like some people are married and looking, and some people in open relationships, and some people are couples that want a third or whatever. And why are you responding to these people if you're not into that kind of thing? And if you are into that kind of thing, more power to you. Do respond. So don't just randomly talk to people because you're bored or you're lonely or you're in a rush. Put out quality information, demand quality information, and then be authentic. And when you meet them, be honest. And at the end of the date, if it's not working, don't say, okay, that was really fun, let's do that again, and then you ghost the person. That is totally lame. You just say, hey, I had a lot of fun, this was, I enjoyed myself, I don't really see how we ever gonna work out, but I'm open to being friends, or thanks for a nice day, and I'll talk to you later. And if you do get on, somebody calls you up and you end up to a date situation, actually show up. And if something happens to you and you can't show up, make sure you communicate with the person so they don't feel like you didn't care or you stood them up. On the other hand, if you're the person that got stood up, sorry, my doggy just jumped off my lap. Don't take it personally. The truth is, the person who just didn't show up or whatever, they don't know you, so they don't really know what they're missing. They didn't put any time or energy investing into you to find out, so who cares, right? You can go do something else fun with your time. Call your girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever you got going on and go do something else fun. Don't wait for them. If they do contact you after that, be honest with them and go, hey, thanks for contacting me after the fact, but it's not okay with me that you didn't show up and that you didn't let me know. So I'm good with that. Have a nice life, whatever. If they're actually interested in you and they had a legit reason for not showing up or whatever, emergencies sometimes do happen, they will pursue you further and they'll apologize. They want to make it up to you. It's going to be obvious that they're interested in you. If they're just minimal investment and they're like, okay, cool, see you next time, whatever, then why are you wasting time? Don't communicate with them anymore. Take them off your address book and move on. It's like, big deal. Okay. So that's that. I wish everybody out there a fun online dating experience. And if you have any questions, again, shoot me a comment down at the bottom of the video. Subscribe to my channel so you get the next relationship video. And share the content with your single friends. And hopefully we'll see each other again out there on the dance floor or in cyberspace on YouTube. Thank you for watching and have a good one. Bye.